Hello and welcome. As we head into our 11th successful year, we appreciate this opportunity here at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program held in the Meadville Area Middle School in partnership with Allegheny College, Crawford Central School District, and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Fund to proudly announce that we will now be known as the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program, Pennsylvania 21st Century Community Learning Center. This is thanks, oh, you can applaud for that if you want. This is big news. This is thanks to the Pennsylvania Department of Education's award that provides $97,980 each year for the next 5 years. As Pedro A. Rivera, Pennsylvania Secretary of Education, said, these federal funds will enable the organization to provide after-school programming while building capacity to sustain those services beyond the grant period. So what does the grant mean? As our current director and program founder, Dr. Armendia P. Dixon, stated, it means that individuals, agencies, businesses, and organizations in Meadville, our beloved community, will continue to show how our coming together means a safe and beautiful space where we help our students and their families to succeed. The program will accommodate 22 7th graders, 22 8th graders, and their parents. Yes, their parents, because there will be a family engagement component. Over the course of the program, we will discuss the specific role of each of the nucleus of our partners, collaborators, and staff. And additionally, we will discuss program offerings available to the students. Recently, an agent for the State 21st Century Community Learning Center facilitation team met with our local team members, and she was quite impressed by the community buy-in for this decade-old institution here at the Meadville Area Middle School. Towards that end, we are honored to also recently address Meadville City Council and receive their accolades for the mentoring program and its founder and director, Dr. Dixon. This is a furtherment of her mission to establish and further Dr. King's dream of the beloved community here in Meadville. What follows now is our game plan. And I would ask Principal Scott Lynch of the Meadville Area Middle School to come forward and to provide a description of the role of each partner. Ladies and gentlemen, Principal Scott Lynch.
Thanks. Thank you. Good evening. First and foremost, I'd like to welcome all the parents, students, community members that are here this evening. And above all, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Dixon for her efforts with the Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program over the past 11 years. And obviously this year we have secured some serious funding as we move forward with the Pennsylvania 21st Century Community Learning Center here at Meadville Area Middle School. As stated by Mr. Galbo, I am the principal here at Meadville Area Middle School, along with my assistant, John Fry, who's instrumental, along with my secretary, Shirley Krem, who does an enormous amount of work also to make this be successful. But above all, I just want to thank the school board and Mr. Washington for them allowing us and permitting us to have such a great program that can benefit our students in many, many ways. Because ultimately, that's the key. It's about the students and what we can do for them and what we can offer them. I'm going to talk about each role specifically, briefly, between the partnership between Crawford Central School District, Allegheny College, and the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Foundation. Allegheny College, obviously, they are an educational institution who provide us with the educational background when the students go there. One of the great adventures that the students have is when they go to Allegheny, they get to eat in the Allegheny cafeteria. So that is a big event for them. And that's usually taken care of by Allegheny. So we want to thank Allegheny for the educational part of it as well as the cafeteria, because the students do get excited about that. We also have an AmeriCorps Vista through Allegheny. Emily Stanton, you might stand up. And they also, again, as I stated, they provide educational resources for us. The MLK Foundation, they're a very active board who have been completely instrumental in this program. The MLK scholarships that are provided each year to graduating students. Funding for the program, they've been instrumental in grant writing and providing funding. It could be in the way of grant writing or in-kind services that are provided. As well as the big event now that's held in February, our beloved community, where we have many, many community members come in, big event, students throughout the district come in and attend that event, as well as the curriculum piece that has been written. And I know Dr. Dixon is very excited about the new curriculum that's going to be offered moving forward this year. Crawford Central School District, obviously, the diamonds are the students that are enriched by this program. We provide those students. We provide the space for this to happen. We also provide data and information based on attendance, grades, discipline to the student or for the program to show that it's working. The space, as I mentioned, we also provide some of the staffing for that. Some of our teachers are a part of that. But again, above all, I think the most important piece is the students that we provide to the program. And I'd also like to go back to the Allegheny piece, the mentoring that they provide with their students. This is something that I don't believe can be easily measured because there have to be measurable outcomes in these types of programs. And I'm not sure that you can truly, truly measure that. The impact that a mentor has on our students as a mentee. It can be immediate, it could be a week from now, it could be a month, it could be a year, or it could be 10 years. So the impact that they have, not only that, they serve as role models to our students, to get our students to give back to their community one day. I'd also like to thank Armstrong. They have been nothing but very supportive in televising these events, as well as many other contributors, and I'm sure that they will be mentioned, as well as the Meadville Tribune. So if you could please just give all those people a big round of applause and thank you. And again, thank you to anybody who is a part of this program. It's truly amazing what a group of people can do for students and to help them grow and flourish. So again, thank you, and thank you for attending. Mr. Galbo.
Thank you. And thank you. Got another round of applause for Mr. Lynch. And again, without the cooperation of the home base here, where these students are, they're at home. And again, the importance of this program, that so many of them stay in, that after they've been at school all day long, they want to stay for this program afterward. And again, I don't know about you when you were in school, and again, school's a great thing, but you know, from that standpoint, the fact that they want to stay really shows you the importance of this. So, toward that end, it is my great honor at this point, and she will hear her name referred to many times through the course of this program, and deservedly so, to describe the program offerings of this program. It's my great pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Armendia P. Dixon, the director of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pennsylvania 21st Century Community Center Learning Center Fund. Dr. Dixon?
You know what, I want you to know, every time I'm introduced that way, I don't really like it, because I happen to know that this program would not exist without you. It didn't even start out with just Armendia. It started out with Dr. Dave Runcolada, Mr. Galbo, Dr. Courtney Dodge, and Jamie Williams, and Mrs. O'Day Fry. And we worked the whole summer doing the research for this program. So it started out as a collaborative effort. And it has kept up, mainly because Mr. Lynch gave the go-ahead signal. He said, okay, I think this is going to work. I won't tell you what he put us through before he said it would work. But he put us through the test, and it worked. So without him, it just wouldn't have happened. And I just want you to know that because of you and because of the parents because of these people you're going to meet pretty soon who will be helping us. This is what made this program happen, so I want to thank you. And before I talk about the offerings, which I'm supposed to be talking about, you know, I see Pastor Wolford in our midst, and you know, I was at his church this past Sunday, and he talked about how we have worked together in the community. He talked about the beloved community and how important education is. And I could just go all down the line and name each of you because you played a role in what has happened to this program and how this program has grown. So now I'll tell you about the offerings in the 21st Century Grant. How about that? Okay, what does it mean that we now have this grant? First of all, it means that we're going to change our offerings. I am sure you know that we had the program 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was from 3:30 until 5:30. But because of the state grant and the state priorities, and knowing that Meadville can do what it needs to do for its young people, the state of Pennsylvania says you need 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, from 3:30 until 6:30. Well, my goodness, that sounds like a long time. But then you'd be surprised at what the state says we can do with all of that time. And we're excited. First of all, it isn't a program where you just do homework. You do homework for a little while, but you're going to be doing, your children will be doing enrichment activities. Enrichment in science, math, reading, and English. Because the state of Pennsylvania says, and so does the nation say, that our students need to be gifted, especially in these subjects. We want to be #1 again in the world. And this is what is going to help to make it happen. So apart from the enrichment activities, and when you say enrichment, we're talking about some things you never heard of that the students are going to be doing between the time they get there at 3:30 and when they leave at 6:30. They're also going to have art class with a national art instructor. My goodness. They're going to be looking at some priorities, and they're going to tell you about that because we have some people here who are going to say exactly what they're going to be doing with our students. Also, the parents are going to have a parent component. You know, you may want to know something. You may want to have the opportunity to talk to your friends and other parents. So whatever you say you want, we're going to provide it for the parents. So that is going to be spectacular. Also, we're going to have Mr. Mark Feely from Ernst Seeds coming in, teaching our young people about horticulture. Oh my goodness, doesn't that sound great? And learning what it means when you say germination, and learning experiments and doing all of those things, and presenting and competing with other students across the state. In addition to that, we're going to have our art infusion, where we have our instructors here in our school who will teach the children with dance and song and drama. You know, our children like to do things like this. And they are going to have the opportunity to do it. We have partnered with the recreational complex this year, and our students are going to go ice skating and roller skating, swimming. And we're really negotiating with a karate teacher who will teach them karate. And we're going to have yoga. I can't think of what they're not, you know, I need to be in these classes. I mean, they sound absolutely exciting. And our agencies will be coming in to do some very dramatic things. I understand our students are also going to be taught how to be advocates. They're going to go to the Capitol this year. They're going to stay overnight in Harrisburg. They're going to meet some of our legislators who are helping to make the 21st Century Grant happen. So we are indeed excited. And we're so blessed to have a board who works along with us and with Crawford Central School District and of course when we think of our collaborators outside of the school district, it's amazing. I was talking to Mr. Lynch today, and I said, you know, if we didn't have in-kind services, we wouldn't make it. Our in-kind services total almost $1 million. We couldn't make it without people giving of their time and their services. So I think I'm going to stop here with this, and we're going to look forward to hearing from our priority people. Okay, thank you so much, everybody. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon. And I think that, doesn't everybody want to get started right now? I know I do. And Dr. Dixon, as always, is correct. The reason that the state smiled upon us with regard to this was the collaboration and the community embracing of this program over the last 10 years. Because again, you needed the participation of the middle school, which Mr. Lynch did, but then from this standpoint, the students embraced it and the community embraced it, and I think that that's why when we had a representative from the state come and take a look at not a beta program, but a 10-year-old program, I believe that that's why she was overwhelmed by what we have going here. And our goal is to make this really a model for this area and a model for the state, because we believe that what we have here is something special, and we want you to know about it too. And towards that end, we heard a little bit about the collaborators from Mr. Lynch and from Dr. Dixon, and at this point in time, we'd like to hear a little bit from a few of them, and what they plan to offer to the students. At this time, I'd like to call Ms. Kelsey Kincaid, the coordinator for Crawford County Drugs and Alcohol Prevention Department, to come and talk a little bit about what they're going to be doing with the students. Kelsey?
Thank you. As Mr. Galbo said, I am Kelsey Kincaid from the Prevention Department at Crawford County Drug and Alcohol. Dr. Dixon had reached out to us in the department looking for partners and programming to help fulfill the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant. And we have decided very excitedly to offer the COPE program, C-O-P-E, which stands for Creating Opportunities for Personal Empowerment. The program is a cognitive behavioral skill building program, which very basically means understanding how our thoughts and feelings affect our behaviors, and then applying that understanding to ideally think, feel, and act in more positive ways. It is proven to be effective as a prevention and brief intervention tool for substance use disorders, as well as mood and anxiety disorders. COPE does offer the program for different age ranges, from children to adults, but for the Martin Luther King Jr. mentoring program, we will offer the teen section for children, well, teens, ages 11 to 18. There are 7 sessions to the program, focusing on the connection between thinking, feeling, and behaving, positive thinking, forming healthy thinking habits, coping with stress and stressful situations, as well as problem solving and goal setting, and then there's finally a putting it all together session at the end. Each session does include discussion facilitated by one of us from Crawford County Drug and Alcohol, and it has activities and workbook practice, as well as a take-home practice activity, really focusing on positive thought patterns, as well as the positive problem solving and managing stress. For the 2019-2020 school year, COPE is tentatively set to begin in March, and we are very excited and looking forward to that. We're thrilled that the program itself has become this Pennsylvania 21st Century Community Learning Center. That's an awesome opportunity for the young adults and youth of our community. From Crawford County Drug and Alcohol, we are very thankful and grateful to Dr. Dixon and the Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program for involving us and helping make us a partner. Thank you.
And this again is the community partnership that we're looking for, to involve a lot of these different agencies that are out there that have very valuable programs, but sometimes the students and their families don't know about them and don't know about what opportunities there are for them, so they're coming here. And again, that's part of that beloved community concept that we are trying to do with regard to this program. Next up, I would like to have Miss Eileen Mullen, the Director of Crawford County K-12 Career Education Alliance, come up and talk about that very valuable contribution to the mentoring program. Ms. Mullen?
Thank you. Thank you. Again, my name is Eileen Mullen. I am the Crawford County K-12 Career Education Alliance Program Coordinator, which means that my program serves the 3 school districts in Western Crawford County to provide career exploration activities and events, supplementing some after-school programs, doing mock interviews. We do the career camp and the STEM camp. But I was very excited to be approached by Dr. Dixon to see if I would want to partner this year with the MLK after-school mentoring program, because I love doing career exploration activities, but they're more fun after school. There's that fun component. The students are still learning, but we get to talk in a more casual way. The students engage in a more personal way, and we get to take the students out and take them to do some fun things as well. So it's not just being in the classroom, and anyone who's been a part of the program before knows that there's a real fun and engaged and enrichment component to it, which makes it different. So the things that I am doing is, in the beginning, I really want to come in and talk about how do we prepare students for careers even when they're in 7th and 8th grade. And I want to make sure that we make that correlation between what's happening already in the classroom to what employers are asking it at work. So they want you to show up for work every day, and we talked about attendance and how much we value attendance. They want you to show up on time every day. So we talked about tardiness and not being late. We talk about that's a dependability. We talk about teamwork. Why do we do group projects in school? We want to develop teamwork so that students understand how to work together. We want to express honesty. Why do we not cheat in school? Well, we want to have integrity and be honest because you want to take that into the workplace. Initiative. Don't always ask to be told what to do. Have initiative. Think, what should I be doing right now? What should I be doing with my time? How can I be more efficient? We talk about efficiency. We talk about not wasting time. Use your whole school day to learn. Use your after-school component to be enriched and have good experiences and become more employable. Problem solving. Why do we talk about stressing math? Not just because 1 + 1 = 2, but because you're teaching your brain to solve problems. You're teaching critical thinking. And also communication. You know, we're going to do some pre-interview skills, and the #1 pre-interview skill is speaking to each other, looking at each other in the eye when I speak to you, answering a question, knowing myself and what my interests are, and conveying that back to you. The fun thing is we're going to talk about field trips, and I will come in and talk about what's our expectation before we go on a field trip. So do some research about the company, understand where you're going, what business sector is it, understand what's your responsibility when you're at a field trip. If we're going into a business, what should you be dressed like? What questions you should be asking? How can you best prepare for that? How should you act when you're in a business, right? Especially when you're representing your program and representing your school. And then again, afterwards, what kind of reflection can you do based on that field trip to a business? Is that a business you would like to work in? Is that a business sector that interests you? And so we're going to be going on some exciting field trips. We're going to be going to different businesses. Meadville Medical Center has invited us to come on a tour. Tamarack Packaging has invited us to come on a tour. Allegheny College, very excited to have the kids understand the opportunities of post-secondary education. The Career and Technical Center, which students can start to go to in 11th and 12th grade to prepare for a job when they graduate from high school. Very excited, and we also have one more in the works that is going to confirm this week to tell us that we're going to be able to go on that field trip as well. The last thing we're going to do is talk about reflecting on those, right? So if we do purposeful things, then we have to think about why we did them and what did we learn based on that. So we're going to ask the students, you know, what did you learn based on that? What kind of soft skills did you notice when you were in those businesses? What employability skills did you learn while you were there that will be useful? And I really hope that a lot of this invites conversation between the parent and the students, not only how the student becomes more employable, but how the parents are modeling those skills that the students are going to need in the workplace as well. I'm excited to partner with FIA, and we spoke to them, and they talked to us about providing some materials. And so we have pocket resumes so that the students understand that all the things that they're going to be doing are resume builders. We can put those experiences on a resume, and yes, you can have a resume in 7th, 8th, and 9th grade because you're doing important things that are preparing you for the workplace. And career guides to kind of have us understand what's our interest, what do we like, what are we good at, and how do we correlate that into a job starting in 7th and 8th grade. And then some activity books so that we can better understand what will be the best choice for us when we get that job. So I was very excited and honored to be asked. I'm very excited about this year. I'm excited to meet all the students and work together. I think this is an awesome team. Thank you.
Thank you, Eileen. And I think that one of the things, if you start to see a pattern with regard to our collaborators and what we've talked about, is that one of the most important aspects of the mentoring program is teaching students to learn how to learn. And from this standpoint, as we've been in operation for 10 years, we've had students graduate college. We've had students go on to workplace. We've had them have a little bit of an advantage over the other ones. I remember when I was a student in college, it always struck me as odd that they had that a lot of these students had advanced to a college level but didn't know how to study, and they didn't know how to learn. And from this standpoint, this is something that the mentoring program is providing to these students. And as you can see, that we've already been reaping the benefits. With regard to our connection now with the 21st Century program, we're going to expand even beyond where we're at this point. And finally, the next individual that we'll talk about with regard to our collaborators is Ms. Mickey Salasco, the coordinator of the Child and Adolescent Service System program. Mickey?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to come tonight. I am very excited to see all of you parents and all the participants there in the community. I heard about this program a couple times through my job. I am a CASP coordinator for Crawford County Human Services, and I work with families and children to try to keep them in their homes with least restrictive services. So I'm very familiar with the community programs that we have, and I was so excited when I went to a training day and heard about this program. I approached Mrs. Dixon and said, hey, I am really excited to get parents involved. When we get parents involved, we know that the outcomes are amazing. And sometimes I think that parents don't feel comfortable being involved in programs with their children. So what my part is I'm going to try to collaborate with the parents and Mrs. Dixon to work to offer you programming as well as your children. So we want to make sure that you are learning something as well as your child. And that is going to look very different for each person. I offered, and we are asking you, pretty please, before you leave, to fill out the survey that we have given you, because we want parents to be the forefront of this program. We need volunteers. We want you to be comfortable enough to say, hey, these are some of the things that I'm interested in. Not everyone is going to be interested in everything, but I was really excited to hear that the grant was pretty much kind of said you have to involve parents. So in saying that, fill out those surveys, and some of the things that we are going to be working on are things that, you know, we want to help you possibly with your education. We want to help you with some job learning skills, but we also want to do some things that are going to interest you with helping your child. For example, maybe you might want to understand the school system better. Maybe you might want to understand what community services are out there. Maybe you really would like to just meet new friends and join a book club. So After you fill out the survey, we're going to take it back. I'm going to meet with my team, which I want to thank those two nice ladies over there, Carol, Lily, and Libby, for volunteering to be on my committee. I also have a JPO officer that is also going to be on there, but he golfs on Tuesday nights and couldn't be here, so good for him. So what is this going to look like? Well, I'm going to tell you what it's going to look like. So one time a month, the third Thursday of each month, from 3:30 to 4:30. I better make sure I said that right. I'm wrong. 4:30 to 6:30, we are going to meet as parents. We probably will meet before that so that we can kind of talk about where we want to go, because we want parents to be involved in this. And we're gonna do some kind of activity that you're interested in, or learn something new that you're interested in. For example, another one is social media. Hey, I don't even really know how to run the computer, so how am I gonna, my kids are grown, so, you know, things are so much different. So another thing that we're gonna be offering is a parent night and parent conferences. So every quarter, every 3 months, we're gonna offer a parent conference night and a family night. And what that is gonna look like is parents are going to come, they're going to meet with the mentors, the teachers, whoever is involved with their child, to kind of see how they're doing in the program. And then we're going to offer an activity and a food, dinner, however we can figure that out. And maybe you might want to volunteer to bring something, to do something fun with your child and do something fun with other people in your community. I am very excited, and I really thank you for letting me be involved in this program. You know, I've worked in this field for over 30 years, and I've been asking for more parent involvement. So we have a family night through some school-based programs, and I am telling you, aunts, uncles, cousins, kids, relatives, dogs, they all come because it's fun. We're doing something as a community. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and have a nice night. Don't forget to fill out your surveys. Thank you.
And it strikes me really, the old adage of the fact that it takes a village to raise a child. And as you can see, that this is what's been going on in Meadville. And I think that from that standpoint, that all these resources are available. They're just waiting for you, and they're waiting for your children. And one of the greatest resources, and part of that village in Meadville, is Allegheny College. And from that standpoint, the heartbeat of this entire program has been the mentors. And from that end of it, the mentors that I've talked to, and I will tell you this, these are some of the most outstanding young people I have ever met in my entire life, including the young people that I grew up with. And the one thing that they tell me, and they're very excited, all of them, and the one thing that they tell me, as much of a pleasure as it is to be able to help these students here at the middle school to be able to learn, how much they're also enabled, how much they also learn from those same students, from Dr. Dixon, from the collaborators at this point. It's been a wonderful marriage that continues to go on, and at this point in time, I would like to introduce Dr. Ron Cole from Allegheny College, a part of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pennsylvania 21st Century team. Dr. Cole.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It is just a real honor and privilege to be a part of this team to help foster the relationship between Allegheny College, the Meadville Area Middle School, the MLK Mentoring Program. I'm humbled by the amount of collaboration that it takes to deliver this program. It's humbling and incredibly inspiring to see the teamwork and the participation that takes place. As Joe alluded to, the heartbeat of this program truly are the mentors that are Allegheny students. They look forward to serving in this program throughout the entire school year. Several days a week, they're down at the middle school, serving to provide academic guidance, but also serving as critical role models for the students in the middle school as they think about their futures and their pathways. So what I'll do is take a few moments and just describe a little bit of the infrastructure, the staffing that goes behind this program, the mentors being a key core part of that staffing. And there'll be upwards of 20 Allegheny students involved in this program as mentors. Also involved to staff the program, of course, are teachers. We'll have at least 2 teachers involved for the 7th and 8th grade students that are part of the mentoring program. We have, as introduced earlier, Emily Scanlon, who's an AmeriCorps Vista. It's a program also that's run through Allegheny, and Emily's job is going to be to help to foster connections between the 21st Century Mentoring Program and some of our community partners, help to build some of that capacity, and also serve as another mentor and role model for the students in the program. We will have behavioral specialists as part of the staff to work with the students in the program on a regular basis. We will have an external evaluator, a faculty member at Allegheny who has training in education and will be able to provide us routine assessment of how the program is doing so that we can have continual improvements on what's being delivered. That's going to be a crucial part of having an effective program over the duration of our grants. We'll have somebody who will help us with data gathering and analyzing data as a statistician, and then all of this is going to be coordinated by a director currently served by Dr. Dixon, who's serving as our director and doing a masterful job at bringing all of these pieces together. And it doesn't just happen on its own. There's a great deal of energy and motivation that's required for this to take place. So I hope you recognize that this is a program that requires essential collaboration from the main folks that were mentioned so far, but the multitude of community partners, local businesses and community agencies that have embraced and supported this program is so important to the future of not only the program, but to the future of this Meadville community. Because I believe there's nothing more important than the education of our youth to foster the vitality of our community going forward. So once again, it's a real pleasure and a sense of pride to be able to participate, and I thank you all for attending, and I'll turn it now back to Mr. Galbo.
Thank you, Dr. Cole. And again, this mentoring program has been going on for a decade and may be one of the area's most unknown treasures. Our job is to make it more known at this point. We have the opportunity now at this point to be able to expand, as Dr. Dixon said, and to be able to serve more students. And it's always resource oriented at this point. And Dr. Dixon referred to the fact that so many individuals want to come forward and help us because they realize this is our future. This is the future of the Meadville area happening right now in this school as we speak. And so towards that end, as we have presented this part of the program, I'd like to open up to any questions that may have that probably our learned panel may be able to answer for you. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Well, I think that the panel did a very, very good job of describing what it is that the program has to offer. And as we stated at the onset of the program, we are elated and honored that the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Mentoring Program, Pennsylvania 21st Century Community Learning Center, was endowed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education and awarded that $97,980 each year for the next 5 years. It's a testament to Dr. Dixon, the Allegheny mentors, who are the heartbeat of the program, as we said before, all of the collaborators, all of those that in any way, shape, or form have contributed to the success of this program and enrich it to the point that it's been singled out for this honor. Now, the only thing missing at this point is you. If you have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, or neighbors entering the 7th and 8th grade at the Meadville Middle School, area's middle school, please, please tell them about the program in the next week or so, because again, we're rapidly approaching the point that we're going to be opening enrollment to it. And as we said, it's 22 in the 7th grade, 22 in the 8th grade at this point. And we want to serve as many as we can, but that's where we're at this point. But you heard over the past hour all these things that are available to them, and we want to provide it to them. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stated, our goal is to create a beloved community, and this will require a qualitative change in our souls as well as a quantitative change in our lives. Be a part of that change. Be a part of the beloved community of Meadville. Thank you.